No, for real, you guys, I'm just kidding. Do not come for me for that entrance. But with the whole veil and stuff, I guess you guys can kind of get where I'm going at with this. I'm going to be telling you guys my do's and don'ts that I personally recommend. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. Everybody likes different things, but just from what I have seen being a wedding coordinator for the past year, this is kind of my recommendation. So once again, take it as you will. There's no wrong way to do a wedding. Everybody does their wedding different. So this is just my personal opinion and kind of how I would want to do my wedding. So if you don't agree with everything I say, then maybe this video isn't for you, or maybe this will give you new ideas to add on to your wedding planning. Okay, so starting off, I'm going to kind of do my do's. I have a list in front of me, so if I'm looking over there, that's why. Just so I keep it organized and can get through this quickly for you guys. I really hope this video helps with anyone who is planning your wedding or just wants to think about it. Honestly, it's super fun to think about it, and I wasn't gonna wear this veil the whole video, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like making me really happy. And this video is an honor. I have my very last wedding where I am the lead coordinator tomorrow, and it is just absolutely crazy to think of how far I came. Let's get to the do's for a wedding. Okay, so my number one recommendation for a do's is to send out a save the date. I know this might not seem important, but personally, I think it is one of the major things to get people thinking about your wedding, to put it in their head of like, okay, this person's wedding is like in this month. I might not know the date, but I am thinking about it. A lot of people might think, oh, like wedding invitation gives them enough time, but believe me, I 100% recommend doing save the date. It will just get people thinking of your wedding, and then more people will probably be able to come because they know so far in advance that they're able to schedule and work it out. Okay, so number two that I recommend getting a photographer and a videographer. I know that it can get a little bit pricey and budgets might have to be cut, but please do not ever cut your budget from your photographer and videographer. Of course, once again, you can do what you will. It is your wedding. It is your choice. This is my personal recommendation just because working all of the weddings I have worked, it flies by, you guys. I know a lot of people probably say that, like it goes so fast, you know, it's like blink and it's over. It's true. But I'm being so serious. You are going to want to go back and look at those photos, look at that video. Like, it is so important. Like I said, for the most part, a wedding goes by so fast. And during this video, I will kind of give out the timeline that I personally use for all my couples. And, you know, depending on each couple, some of them want to kind of rearrange it and change it. But I'll give you guys kind of just a draft overview of a timeline. So if you're coming up with your own, then you can have an idea. But yes, once again, photographer, videographer, do not cut a budget from them because you're going to want to go back and look at those moments. And I promise you, some of those moments you're not even gonna remember because it flew by. So you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that happened. So keep it in mind. So another thing I recommend, which, fair warning, this thing I recommend, it can be a little tricky. So let me explain how you can do it the best way I've found it to work. So it's a sparkler send-off. I know a lot of people like to save it to the end and actually be sent off that way. However, for most weddings I've had who actually do the sparkler send-off at the end, they just don't have the numbers of people they need to make that photo or that really romantic send-off you see on Pinterest come alive. For the most part, the weddings I've worked, it's just, it would look better if there were more people in it. Get what I'm saying? So this is what I recommend to a lot of my couples when I am telling them about sparkler send-offs. I recommend a faux sparkler send-off. Now this is where the tricky part comes in, because the problem is with faux send-offs, and this has happened at a few weddings, it's hard to bring the people back in because if you're saying, oh, sparkler send-off time, people are like, oh, we're leaving, like let's grab our bags and we'll head out after the sparkler send-off, when granted, you still have a ton of stuff to do back in there and the dance floor is open, the DJ is partying, like you want people to come back in. So what I've learned, and this actually was a recommendation from one of the DJs that I worked with, and it has worked magic for all my other weddings. You don't call it a sparkler send-off. You call it like a game. It's more like a game. So like say for example, like the shoe game. It would be kind of like that. Like, oh, we're gonna do a sparkler game or like a sparkler photo. It is not a send-off, yada, 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 stuff like that. But I think faux sparkler send-offs just look so much better for like the number of people still there. And it's just like, it really comes to life. Now, granted, if you do have a ton of people, like a 500 people, 500 like guests, whatever, then yeah, you might have a better chance. But if you're having like a little bit less, like say 150 to 200, they're not all gonna be there for that photo. So just keep that in mind. Either way you decide to do it, a faux sparkler send-off or a real sparkler send-off, I recommend doing it. The pictures always look incredible. And okay, so I know everybody loves a good cake, and believe me, my Pinterest wedding board is like full of like massive 5, 6 tier cakes, like gorgeous, like spend thousands of dollars on a cake. That is like super awesome. However, now working weddings, I'm kind of like, my mind for my perfect wedding has kind of shifted. I personally recommend, and I know a ton of people are probably gonna go against me on this and not agree, and that's okay. You do you, baby boo. You do you. But I recommend this one couple I had. It was so cute, you guys, like so trendy too. They had like a cute table of like miniature desserts, like eclairs, macaroons, like just mini little desserts, and had it set up so beautifully on this table. They still had a cake, you guys, but it's not that massive, gigantic, like beautiful Pinterest cake you're imagining. Of course, it looked nice. It was maybe like 2 tier, but it wasn't thousands of dollars. So they kind of like, this is kind of like a saving thing too. If you're looking to cut budget and you're wanting like a massive cake and stuff like that, I 10 out of 10 recommend doing this, because a cake cut for me personally is a must. I think it's super romantic. I think it's super cute. You have those memories forever, especially with your photographer and videographer getting that action. I think it's super cute. So this couple, pretty much what they did is they just cut a slice of that cake, did the cute pictures of feeding each other, smushing it in each other's faces, stuff like that, and then they put it away. That cake was only for them, and they were gonna put that top tier into the freezer, save it for a year, and have it on their 1 year anniversary. And if you do not believe in that, that's okay, but I definitely want to do that when I get married. And hopefully the cake isn't gross after a year, but I mean, people do it all the time, so who knows. But it was super cute though, because nobody really got that cake. It was just for them, which is even more romantic. But then people got like the cute little desserts, and I noticed like people normally go for desserts over the cake slices anyways. For most weddings I've seen that has desserts and cake slices, people love going for like the other desserts, like the small eclairs, the macaroons, like stuff like that. So just something to keep in mind, and it does save money. It is still a beautiful picture to get, so just keep in mind, you guys. So on to the next thing. I've done many different like layout schedules of weddings. This is personally my favorite, you guys. Right after you go into introductions, you're already there, people are already like watching you. I recommend going straight into your first dance, because all eyes are already on you, and you kind of get your first dance out of the way, and it's super romantic, it's super fast, quick, and easy. However, I've had people do the first dance after dinner, after cake cutting, like after all the little things you go through on a reception, and then they do it right before the dance floor opens. I've seen that. It's beautiful. It's great. It works great either way. Of course, it always depends on what the bride and groom want, but I really like seeing right after the introductions, just going into the first dance, because everybody's already watching you and you got their attention. The last thing I'm going to say for the do's that I think is super romantic, and I definitely will be doing at my wedding, is doing the last dance with only the bride and groom. I think that is super romantic. It gives you a second to just stop and be like, holy crap, we're married. On to the don'ts. First things first, don't rush. Do not rush the day. The day is yours. And as a wedding coordinator, I have seen so many different types of people, and the main thing that I like to tell every single bride and groom is life isn't perfect. It's not going to go exactly how you imagine, but that's okay. Things happen that you cannot control. Not even a wedding coordinator can control. But the biggest thing is I've had some people let it ruin their entire day. But what's the point of that? This is supposed to be one of the happiest, most exciting, biggest day of your life. Also, I said one of the biggest days. I'm not saying it is the biggest day. But for me, when I get married, it's definitely going to go in the books of one of my biggest days because I'm going to be marrying my best friend, my ride or die. Like, it's going to be a party. But, so, like I said, you cannot let the little things trip you up. If one little thing goes wrong, it's fine. It's life. You can't control everything, and that's okay. That's what the wedding coordinator is for. Make sure to have a wedding coordinator. I didn't say that in the do's. 100% a must-have. Just because, why do you want to stress on your wedding day? Let us do it. Also, do not, please, do not, unless they are super, super reliable, and you know you can count on them. Do not count on a friend to do a vendor's job. Please, you guys, I'm begging you, please. I mean, don't expect a friend to do the catering, to do the bartending, to do photography, to do anything you should be getting vendors for. I say this because I have experienced this multiple times. Where people want to save a few bucks, they get a friend, and it flops. I'm going to leave it at this. Please just hire vendors. Piggybacking along with don't expect your day to be absolutely perfect because you know the world's not perfect. Do not spend your day stressed out of your mind that you even forget to enjoy your wedding. Another one I personally don't recommend, the money dance. If you don't know what the money dance is, let me explain it to you. Where like the bride's here, the groom's here, people get in a line and they pretty much pay to dance with the groom or the bride. And it can be a cute concept. I mean, normally the money will go towards a honeymoon or something they need for their house or just, you know, stuff like that. And I understand the concept of it. I personally don't like it. Another thing, party favors. I don't recommend it. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. People are going to come not for your party favors. They're coming because they genuinely love you or whoever you're marrying, and they want to be there to support you on your big day. Moving on to my no opinion about these, but throwing out ideas for you guys, just so you can hear it for if you are trying to plan a wedding or get some ideas in your head. The bouquet toss and the garter toss. I've seen them done. I've seen them not done. Once again, nobody really cares. I tell you guys, for me personally at my wedding, I do want to do a bouquet toss. I think it's cute. Like, it's fun. Why not? Cute pictures at least. I don't want to do a garter toss. And knowing my family, like, I don't need my, like, husband digging up in my dress, getting my little lacy garter off my leg, biting it with his teeth and, you know, and then just, like, shooting it to some guy. Like, I don't know. I personally don't like it. I think it's weird. And like knowing my family, I think it would make everyone uncomfortable, to be honest. So, but once again, I don't really have an opinion on it. Another thing I don't really have an opinion on is the first look, if you do it or not. That is solely based upon the couple getting married. For me personally, I don't want to do a first look, but I do want to do a first touch. So, you know, we'll just like stand behind like me on this side, him on this side, and we'll just hold hands and we'll touch before the wedding and kind of just like, you know, calm our nerves. Once again, it's kind of up to the couple. I think it's cute if you want to do a first look. Some people do it so they can get the photos out of the way. So there's an idea. If you do want to do a first look, you can knock all the photos out of the way before the ceremony even begins. That way you can just jump straight into the reception and more dance time. Another thing I don't really have an opinion on to tell you guys not to do or to do is the shoe game. So the shoe game, just if you don't know, it's where the couples sit back to back. On one hand, they have the groom's shoe, and the other, they have the bride's shoes. So you're each holding separate shoes. So then the DJ has his microphone and he is asking, last time I saw this done, it was 20 questions. So let me give an example. So say like, it's me here. Hi, like cute little bride, like what's up? And my like groom is sitting behind me. I have his shoe in this hand. I have my shoe in this hand. And they're like, who sleeps the latest? Well, I think it's the groom, so I'll raise the groom's shoe. Well, he thinks it's me, so he'll raise my shoe. So if that kind of like makes sense, And then it kind of goes off of like to see how many like questions y'all get the same. And it's kind of cute because then you get to learn more about the bride and groom, and it's just fun overall to watch. So I know there's like 1,000 things I am missing for my do's, don'ts, no opinions, but that's really all I could think of. These are some ideas that I've seen to throw out to you guys. So number one, instead of captain's call, which is where the DJ goes around to tables and release them, and this is if you have a buffet style. Obviously, if you have someone actually serving the tables, don't even listen to this. This is for buffet. So normally I see captain's call. At my last wedding, I did. It was so cute. Instead of captain's call, what the DJ did is he stood up with a microphone and he pretty much was like, I'm going to ask you guys questions. Whoever stands up first and answers it, and if they answer it correctly, that whole table can go get in line for the buffet. So it's super cute because instead of just captain's call where you're sitting there like, oh my God, like I want to go eat, people are already in line, like you're thinking about food. This keeps people distracted. So they're not sitting there being like, oh, when is it my turn? When is it my turn? Like I want to eat, I'm hungry, yada, yada, yada. They're distracted by the DJ and listening to the questions and trying to get it right. And it's super fun and interactive. So I said I don't have an opinion, but I do recommend this. I do. I think it is a really good way to keep all your guests happy, entertained, and interactive with the DJ, and not sitting there thinking about how hungry they are that they could eat their entire arm off. So another thing, the anniversary dance. All the married couples get on the floor and they start dancing to like cute music. And then it's like couples who's been married like for 5 years. And so if you've been married for 5 years and up, you're good. You keep dancing. If not, everyone claps, you go sit down. And then it just like keeps going up. And the last one was like, I think over 40 years. So now to kind of go over like the timelines and stuff like that, just so you guys get a better idea. And if you want to create your own timeline, this can give you guys inspo. So I actually, in front of me on my computer, I have it pulled up my wedding for tomorrow and how we are doing it. So this is for the processional, which is like the ceremony and how they are gonna be walking in. So normally what happens is the officiant and groom will walk in. Then you start sending the rest of the people. So sometimes I've had grandparents walk. Tomorrow they're not walking. So then we have the parents of the groom and they walk. And then we have the mother of the bride. I've seen this done a few different ways. I have seen the mother walk alone. I have seen the mother walk with the father and then the father loop back around to walk with his daughter. And I've also seen it where a brother will walk the mother. So then after that's done, the parents are walked, then we start with the bridal parties. First person of the bridal party who starts walking, you walk, and when you get to the altar, you want to stand at the furthest. You are going to be the furthest from the bride and the groom. Also, to throw it out there, the bride always goes on the left, the groom always goes on the right. Everyone walks, and then the last couple of the bridal party to walk is normally the maid of honor or matron of honor and the best man. So they walk and they stand closest to the bride and groom. I know most people already know this, but if you don't, I want to explain it to you guys. Then you send the flower girl. And then after the flower girl, it normally goes to the ring bearer. And then after everyone is up the aisle and positioned, then we send the bride. I want both of my parents walking with me solely because they both equally raised me. Why would it just be my dad like handing me off? My mom's the one who went through 9 months of carrying me and then birthing me. So I'm like, if anyone's handing me off, it's definitely gonna be my mom. But for me, I'm really close with both my parents. So I want them both to walk me down the aisle and hand me to whoever I'm marrying. But yeah, moving on to the timeline of the whole entire day. So let's just use an example that we'll use me. I'm getting married and my ceremony starts at 4:30. Normally what I do if the ceremony is at 4:30, I would be hidden away in like a bridal suite at 4, and then the whole bridal party is lining up at 4:15. 15 minutes before the actual ceremony, getting prepared and then walking down. So we can start right at 4:30. Also, just note, most people don't show up on time. For my wedding, using the same example, if my ceremony is at 4:30, I'm gonna tell people it's at 4. People do not show up on time, and I've literally had people just like, the bride is walking down the aisle and they just like burst in and everyone's like, no, we're not having that. At my wedding, the doors, if it's indoor, they will be locked at a certain time, and if you're not there on time, like, not my problem. Period, you guys. But yeah, so then at 4:30 the ceremony would go, and I just went over the whole processional, so you guys kind of already know what that lineup looks like. Ceremony goes on, blah 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 blah, like I do, kiss, yeah, woo, married, whatever. I'm Mrs. Thompson dash whatever his name is. You guys already know it. I'm not changing my last name. I've been KT Thompson for my whole life, and no man is changing that. And whoever I marry will be taking my last name as well. I feel like it is an equal thing. And just to get through this quicker, I have my laptop right here, so I'm gonna run through kind of how it would look. So cocktail hour would be like 5 to 5:45, and then wedding party introductions, and then you have your first dance at like 5:55. 6 o'clock, you can do like a speech before dinner. 6:05 dinner, 6:45 toast, 6:55 if you're gonna do like the shoe game. 7 o'clock, a father-daughter dance. 7:05, other son dance. 7:15, cake cutting. Normally after the cake's cut is when open dance starts. Normally I see the anniversary dance just to drag people out into the dance floor. And then if you're doing a faux sparkler send-off, that's when they do like, hey, let's go do a game for pictures of a sparkler send-off. They do that, and then they're like, okay, everyone come back in for a bouquet toss or something like that. Normally the DJ will have an idea of how to get people back in, and it's normally just another game. And so then open dance, last dance, and then say you want to actually do a real sparkler send-off, then you would obviously do that after the last dance. But that pretty much wraps it all up for wedding. I can't think of anything else. If you're looking for wedding stuff, you can always find that stuff on Pinterest, but I do hope this video overall was helpful for anyone who's trying to plan a wedding or just wanted to kind of hear my recommendations and personal opinions, being a wedding coordinator for almost a year now. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Subscribe, like it, turn on notifications. You don't want to miss a thing. Bye guys, happy Friday.